Sometimes you've just got to do it anyway, okay? But doing it anyway is hard if you don't have momentum. Now, when you start to build up momentum, and let's talk about this in terms of dating, first of all. When you start to go out, you start to talk to women that you're attracted to, and you start to get some good responses back. When that happens, it's easier then to be encouraged to go out and start more conversations. And then slowly those conversations get a little bit longer, and they get a little bit better, and they start to stick more, and you start to get more sort of flirtatious glances coming back in your direction. You can see that something's working, and that awakens the engine inside, okay? And that kicks you into even greater action until finally the heavens align, something sticks, and you end up in an intimate situation with this woman. Maybe she becomes your girlfriend or a long-term partner, or you have a wonderful love affair or whatever, okay? But what happens when you're in the abyss? What happens when you've given up all hope, okay? Then you have negative momentum. And there's no point in somebody coming onto a video like me now and saying you've just got to keep going even when you don't feel like it, because those words almost mean nothing. Those words are almost an insult to you in that situation, because you are beneath the level at which action and activity can realistically take place. I know that because I myself have experienced exactly that. And this really is part of what we call depression, part of what is pathologized and wrapped up in a nice bundle and described as depression. And I don't believe that depression doesn't exist. It absolutely does exist. It kills people. It's a very, very serious thing. And if you are depressed, or you believe you are depressed, then you should go and seek medical help, 100%. But inertia is a big part of it, okay? And the problem with inertia is that inertia builds on itself. The less you do stuff, the less positive feedback you get from the world, the less inclined you are to do stuff, and so the cycle continues, okay? And this really is at the root, I think, of a lot of inceldom, or so-called inceldom, when actually the guys involved aren't even that necessarily aesthetically challenged. It's just that they've reached such a level of inert lifelessness that they can't possibly conceive of putting themselves out. So what do you do if you're in that situation? What can I tell you? I refer back to the title of the video, okay? The only way through is to keep going even when you don't feel like doing it. But again, how do you do that when the momentum has died, when you have no gas left in the tank? There's no easy answers to this, really. And sadly, some people, they don't find a solution. Or the solution that they do find is so final that it's not even worth talking about. There's an element of faith here, okay? And I'm not going to get hugely spiritual on your ass because it's late and I'm a bit tired and I've got a long day tomorrow. But there's an element of faith here, okay? In some way, you have to find the faith inside that things can and will get better. You have to just find that faith. Now, many of us glory in the notion of there being no God and the fact that the universe is entirely random and pointless and arbitrary, and that there's no real meaning to anything that we see around us. And that may well be true. All of that well may be true. But still, you need to find faith. Now, I'm not talking about religious faith here necessarily, although if that's your thing, by all means go for it. But you've got to find faith somehow in a process that is going to pull you out of this, okay? And the way to do that, I believe, is to look for mentors. It's to go on YouTube, do what you're doing now, watch a video where somebody tells their story and explains how they pulled themselves out of the hole that they found themselves in. Based on that alone, many people can find the faith to carry on and to take those same actions and to pull themselves out of that hole. Again, it's not easy, but that's one way of doing it. Another thing to bear in mind, though, is that you may think that you have no faith. You may think that faith is for losers and for cowards and for the naive idiots who believe in mumbo jumbo. And yet, you have supreme faith already. You have supreme faith in your ability to be right. You have supreme faith in your position. You have supreme faith in the way that you see the world. Well, how about if just as a thought experiment, just for an hour, a day, a week, a month, you made a covenant to yourself and you promised yourself, I'm going to apply that very strong faith that I already have in a different direction. I'm going to apply that faith to believing in a process that's been laid out for me by other people. That could be me, that could be some other person that you follow, it could be a mentor that you've got in real life, it could be a father, it could be a member of your family, it could be somebody you know in your, a friend or somebody you know locally in your community. Have faith in a process, have faith that there's a way out of this because others have trodden that path before you. All right, and that faith, that's the only thing that you've got, okay? But we always have to reduce this stuff down to the most simple terms. Either you're going to get out of bed in the morning and try, or you're not. You're either going to go and talk to that girl and see if you can spark some attraction, see if there's some innate chemistry there, or you're not. You're either going to live or you're going to die, all right? In the end, it kind of is that simple, all right? It really is about those binary opposites. Right now, you may feel hopeless, but the very fact that you're watching this suggests that you're looking for answers, okay? I'm here to tell you there are answers, but in order to access those answers, you need to access faith, okay? Faith in yourself, faith in the rightness of your instincts, faith in the advice of other people, faith in the path that has been laid out by those who've gone before you, all right? You've got to find that faith. If that sounds esoteric, maybe it is, I don't know. But I believed in myself, ultimately. And I always believed in myself. I got very, very thrown off the path for a long time, and that was down to depression, it was down to extreme social anxiety, it was down to extreme low self-esteem, and then it was down to various things that I did to abuse myself, the use of chemicals of various different kinds. I found myself in a very, very dark hole. But ultimately, I always had that kernel of faith, that atom of certainty in my own abilities, in my own instincts, in my own capacity as a human being to write things for myself. And I always knew that in the end, I would do it. I always knew that I would make that journey. And it took me quite a long time, but finally I did, okay? And once you start to take action, the universe rewards that action, okay? You start to see the green shoots of hope appearing. You start to see promises from the universe. You start to see smiles. You start to see more positive reactions. This is in terms of dating, but other aspects of your life as well. You know what I'm talking about. You start to see those positive shoots of recovery, and that encourages you to further action. And then the further action that you take, that then builds on it, and you start to gain speed. You start to gain momentum, okay? But it starts with faith. Faith in yourself, faith in a God, faith in a process, faith in a mentor, or maybe a combination of all of those things, all right? But have a think about it today. If you're in that deep hole, just have a think. What can I put my trust in today? What can I put my faith in today, now, in this moment, that is going to help pull me forward? The best one of all, the universe, okay? Because the universe knows what is right, and the universe will create or allow you to create what is right for you in your life. If you want to talk about this stuff more, book a call with me. We can jump on a call, talk about your dating life, talk about where you are in your life in general right now, and how perhaps we can work together to help improve that situation. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, give me a like, and I'll see you again next time.